Welcome to Concept with Justin. What if a garden's greatest power wasn't in its explosion of colorful flowers, but in its profound sense of peace? What if the most beautiful statement a landscape could make was a whisper, not a shout? Let's begin by embracing the foundational principle that governs this entire aesthetic: geometry and symmetry. Look at this first scene. The approach to the clean, white home is not a meandering path, it is a formal procession. A central walkway of lawn acts as a grand aisle, flanked on either side by perfectly mirrored elements. This is bilateral symmetry in its purest form. Every square hedge, every spherical tree, every line has an identical counterpart across that central axis. This is a deliberate and powerful choice. Nature is rarely so orderly. By imposing this perfect, human-made geometry onto the landscape, the designer creates an immediate and overwhelming sense of calm, control, and stability. Your brain doesn't have to work to decipher a chaotic scene. It is instantly soothed by the predictable, harmonious pattern. The shapes themselves are fundamental and pure. We see squares within squares, created by the low, clipped boxwood hedges. These create the parterres, or compartments of the garden. Rising from the center of these squares are the trees, sculpted into perfect spheres. The square is a symbol of stability and structure, while the sphere is a symbol of wholeness and continuity. The interplay between these two simple, powerful shapes, the linear and the curved, is a masterclass in visual harmony. This is not just a collection of plants, it is a carefully composed piece of living sculpture. The pathway of perfectly manicured lawn, with its subtle stripes, reinforces this linear precision, drawing your eye directly and gracefully towards the front door. Now, let's look at a variation on this theme. Here, the spheres are replaced by cubes. The trees have been pleached or pruned into flat-topped, rectangular shapes that hover above the ground. This takes the architectural quality of the garden to another level. The trees now function as a floating hedge, creating a semi-transparent wall or a second story in the garden's design. This technique adds an incredible sense of depth and complexity, while still adhering to the strict rules of geometry and symmetry. Notice how the straight, clean lines of the tree canopies perfectly echo the lines of the home's roofline and windows. This is a crucial element. The garden is not fighting the house. It is a seamless, harmonious extension of the home's architecture. This leads us to another core principle of this style: repetition. The power of these designs doesn't come from having a wide variety of different plants. It comes from choosing a few perfect forms and repeating them with discipline and rhythm. Look at the rows of identical sculpted trees marching down the length of the property. This repetition is like a drumbeat or a mantra. It creates a powerful visual rhythm that is both grand and meditative. It unifies the entire landscape, making it feel cohesive and whole. Compare this to a garden with 20 different types of shrubs. The effect would be cluttered and chaotic. Here, the simplicity of the repetition is what creates the profound sense of luxury and sophistication. It is a statement of confidence and clarity of vision. This disciplined approach extends to the color palette. These are not rainbow gardens. They are, almost exclusively, a study in the infinite variations of a single color, green. From the deep, rich green of the boxwood hedges to the bright, vibrant lime green of the tree canopies and the soft, cool green of the lawn, the entire landscape is a symphony of verdant tones. The only other major color is the crisp white of the house, which acts as the perfect, clean backdrop, making the greens appear even more lush and vibrant by contrast. By stripping away the distraction of multiple colors, the designer forces our attention onto the more subtle qualities of the landscape. The texture of the leaves, the play of light and shadow, the purity of the geometric forms. This restraint is the very definition of elegance. Let's talk about the bones of the garden. The true heroes of this style are the evergreen structural plants, most notably the boxwood. The low, clipped hedges are the foundation of the entire design. They are the living walls that create the rooms, define the pathways, and frame the lawn. They are the constant, reliable element that gives the garden its structure and beauty all year round. Even in the middle of winter, when a perennial garden would be dormant and bare, this garden retains its powerful geometric form. This is the great advantage of a structurally focused garden. Its beauty is permanent. The hedges are a testament to the long-term vision and patience of the gardener. The sculpted trees, whether spherical or cuboid, are the columns and sculptures within these garden rooms. The technique of training trees into these formal shapes is an ancient art. Topiary, the art of clipping plants into ornamental shapes, creates living sculptures that can act as focal points. Pleaching, the art of weaving and tying the branches of trees together to form a flat plane, creates the stunning hedge on stilts effect. Both techniques require immense skill, patience, and a consistent, artistic eye. These trees are not simply planted, they are cultivated and curated over many years. They represent a deep partnership between the gardener and nature, a gentle guiding of natural growth into an idealized, architectural form. Stopwatch : //equals 5s. Just as important as the plants themselves is the space between them. In design, this is often called negative space, and in these gardens, it is a crucial element. The perfectly manicured lawn is not just leftover area, it is a deliberate design choice. It is a floor of clean, green velvet that allows the sculptural forms of the hedges and trees to be fully appreciated. It provides a place for the eye to rest, preventing the complex geometry from becoming overwhelming. The clean lines of the pathways, whether they are grass or stone, are the hallways that guide you through the space. The design of this open space is just as important as the design of the planted space. It is a testament to the idea that sometimes, what you don't plant is as important as what you do. The relationship between the garden and the house is symbiotic. The house, with its clean white siding, simple lines, and symmetrical gables, is the perfect partner for this style of garden. A fussy, ornate house would compete with the garden's geometry. A rustic, asymmetrical house would feel disconnected. Here, the architecture and the landscape speak the same language, the language of clean lines, balance, and understated elegance. The garden becomes the formal approach, the grand entrance hall that prepares you for the calm and order of the home itself. It is a holistic vision where the line between indoors and outdoors is blurred by a shared design philosophy. What is the feeling that these spaces evoke? It is a profound sense of serenity. In a chaotic world, a garden like this is an oasis of order. It is a space designed for quiet contemplation, for a slow, meditative walk. The lack of distracting color and the repetitive, predictable patterns have a calming effect on the nervous system. It is a statement of control, but not in a harsh or domineering way. It is the gentle, confident control of an artist who has arranged every element to create a single, unified, and harmonious composition. It is a landscape that feels clean, pure, and deeply peaceful. It's important to acknowledge the commitment that a garden like this requires. This is the antithesis of a low-maintenance, wild garden. To maintain these crisp lines and perfect shapes, regular, precise pruning is essential. The hedges must be sheared, the trees must be clipped, and the lawn must be impeccably maintained. This is not a chore. For the true enthusiast of this style, it is a rewarding, almost meditative practice. It is the ongoing act of tending to a living sculpture, of participating in the creation and maintenance of beauty. It requires dedication, but the reward is a landscape of unparalleled elegance and serenity. So, how can we bring these powerful principles into our own, perhaps more modest, landscapes? You do not need a grand estate to benefit from the philosophy of formal design. The principles are scalable. You can start by establishing a clear, strong axis in your front yard. This could be a straight path leading to your front door. Then, embrace symmetry. Whatever you do on the left side of that path, mirror it on the right. This single act will instantly create a sense of order and intention. Embrace the power of repetition. Instead of buying one of 10 different plants, buy 5 or 7 of one beautiful, structural plant, like a dwarf boxwood or a columnar evergreen. Arrange them in a simple, repeating pattern. This will have far more impact than a cluttered, one-of-everything approach. Consider limiting your color palette. Try creating a small garden area that relies only on shades of green and white. You will be amazed at how sophisticated and serene it feels. Invest in 1 or 2 high-quality, sculptural plants to act as focal points. A single, beautifully shaped topiary in a pot can elevate an entire porch. 2 identical potted plants flanking your front door is a classic, timeless, and instantly effective way to create a formal entrance. And above all, focus on creating clean, crisp edges. A sharply defined line between your lawn and your garden beds is the foundation of a well-maintained, intentional-looking landscape, regardless of its style. As we look back at these stunning green worlds, we see that they are more than just gardens. They are statements of a clear and confident design philosophy. They celebrate the beauty of form over the frivolity of color. They find power in simplicity, rhythm in repetition, and peace in order. They remind us that a garden can be a place of quiet, a sanctuary from the visual noise of the everyday world. They are a testament to the idea that by gently guiding nature, we can create a space that is not only beautiful, but that also brings a sense of harmony and balance to our own lives. This style may not be for everyone. It requires a certain personality, a love for order, and a dedication to its upkeep. But the principles it teaches are universal. The power of a strong focal point, the calming effect of symmetry, the sophistication of a limited color palette, and the importance of structure are lessons that can be applied to any garden. It is a masterclass in seeing the landscape not just as a collection of plants, but as a three-dimensional composition of form, texture, light, and space. Imagine coming home to a space like this. Imagine the feeling of walking along that clean, green path, flanked by the quiet, orderly beauty of the sculpted trees. It is a journey that calms the mind and prepares you for the peace of home. It is a living welcome mat that communicates a sense of stability, grace, and timeless elegance. It is a garden that doesn't demand your attention with bright, loud colors, but rather earns your admiration through its quiet, confident, and perfectly composed beauty. Don't be intimidated by the perfection. See it instead as an inspiration. See the simple shapes, the repeating patterns, the clean lines. This is a design language that you can learn to speak. Start with a single, simple idea. A square, a sphere, a straight line, a pair of identical objects. The journey to creating your own serene, green sanctuary doesn't begin with 1,000 different plants. It begins with a single, clear, and beautiful idea. It begins with the simple, profound act of creating order.